Just shoulder hurts. That's all, yeah. Just hurts.
Trent Williams got that penalty in the third quarter, and I think everybody agrees that there was a fair amount of acting involved in that. But is there any concern that that's become a tactic for other teams to sort of goad him into doing something like that, just given what's happened last year in the championship game, some other games?
I'm sure it is. It's our tactic with everybody. So, I mean, everybody does that stuff. So there's a very fine line between it. I didn't think Trent crossed it, but when the flag comes, you crossed it. So you got to find out what that line is, how the game's going, and if you get a penalty, you're wrong.
How do you feel about the offense's, I guess, overall depth beyond just quarterback going in an NFC Championship game, but across the board on offense?
Pretty good. I mean, I think we've gone through some stuff this year, like all teams do, which has allowed guys to play in a lot of spots. But going into this final game, I mean, just having Debo on there is pretty good.
You mentioned the other day with Demo that he plays from a mentality standpoint at a higher level than most guys. Is that something he came in with and has grown, or is it something he had to coach?
No, I think he came in with that right away. I mean, he's the one in rookie camp who got me fined right away for jamming someone too hard and putting it on the internet. So it took me a little bit of time to get over that. But, I mean, he's always had that mentality. I think as all rookies do, you go through some ups and downs early in the year. So I think at times he lost that a little bit. But that was more not because that's not who he is. That's more just trying to figure out this mental part and the scheme part of the game. But Demo's always been a bulldog, and I think that's why he plays at such a high level.
What are your impressions of the Lions' corners?
Corners? They play with their defense. They make some plays, and their whole defense. Like, I mean, you see in numbers and you see, 31st, I think, in the pass game. But then when you watch the tape, you kind of realize how they are. They're aggressive in what they do. They mix everything up, which makes them susceptible to big plays. But they're also fourth in causing negatives. I think they're leading the league in the last 5 games in turnovers. If not, we're top 5 or something like that. I mean, they're a team that really is very aggressive in what they do, which is going to make you hit or miss. But they cause more negative plays than I think anyone in the NFL. I want to say it was 4th on the whole year, and they tie right into that.
You called Jared Goff a couple of days ago a great quarterback. What do you respect about him, and how has he improved since he's been in Detroit?
I mean, I think he's showing some of the stuff that he did in LA. I mean, you go with Jared, I mean, he built for a number of years, especially, I think 17, 18, really 18. I mean, he played at MVP type level. When Jared's, when they give him a good scheme, when he's got good people around him, Jared's going to always find the spot. He's as accurate as any quarterback I've seen. He can play at a very top level. If you sit and make things easy for him, he will gas you. I've seen it over and over, whether it's with the Rams, whether it's with Detroit, and that's why you challenge it. You better be on your stuff or he can embarrass you fast.
How does your strategy change at all when you're going against a coach that will take huge gambles, is going to be super aggressive?
Not much. It's, you look at, I mean, you're aware of it, so you understand it, you prepare for it. They might, when it's 3rd down, they might have 2 tries, a lot more than other teams do, but just percentage-wise, they're willing to go for fake punts and all that stuff. I mean, those guys are trying to steal possessions as much as they can. And I'll tell you after the game whether it's a good thing or bad thing for us. I mean, anytime you try to steal possessions, you're also offering an opportunity to lose possessions. So those are opportunities for them, but they're also big opportunities for us too. And if you come up with more than half of them, I feel it's in our favor.
What was your assessment of your run defense the other night? And then when you look at the Lions' run game, what kind of challenges do they present?
I mean, I think it was obviously not good enough. Gave up our first 100-yard rusher in a while. Way too many explosives. They got outside on us too many times. But we're going to have a huge challenge this week. I mean, the Lions, regardless of who they play, they stick with the run. They do it every game. It's a big part of what they do, and they're very balanced. I think they're very similar to our offense, and that'll be a huge challenge this week.
How did Jair Brown make it through practice last week, and is there a chance to get back on the field this week?
Yeah, there's a chance. I thought he ended the week real well, and I expect him to be that much better this week because of it.
You obviously thought a lot of Fred Warner's skill set when you drafted him, and you put him right in the lineup, but his evolution of a leader, is that something you noticed about him right away, or is it something that's kind of gone as you had it?
I mean, it's a lot easier to be a great leader the better player you are. There's not many really good leaders who aren't really good players. It's really hard for that to last. Guys eventually aren't going to listen to you unless you're balling on the field. So Fred came in with the capabilities of being a great leader. I'm sure he was at his college, I'm not sure, but just the way he carries himself, how hard of a work he is, how consistent he is, just the character of the type of man he is, the effort he does. I mean, it's all about that, the way he can speak to guys, hold guys accountable. But he got better and better because he played better and better. And when you do that, people want to listen to you, regardless if you talk well. But Fred does, he speaks well, and guys, they know what he does all year. So when you put in that type of work, and it looks that way on the field, when Fred says something, you got to listen. He's earned that respect in every facet of his game.
Brock seemed to be out of rhythm in the first 3 quarters of the game against Green Bay. After you watched the film, was it Green Bay? Was it the wet ball? What do you think took him out of his rhythm?
I mean, I think it wasn't just Brock. I think it was her whole offense. I mean, they did some good things. They stopped us, kind of completed a couple third downs. We had a big penalty that made us miss one. I mean, I'm sure a few balls got away in the rain like they always do, like I think it did from the other quarterback also. But I also thought that was a good defense we were going against. I thought they were a challenge. We knew it would be a challenge going into the week. We would like to have done better, but I mean, the way Brock finished on that last drive, and not just him, but everybody, I mean, it was a little here and there. I mean, just we were able to overcome some of our mistakes on the last drive than we did earlier in the game, even the drops, things like that. But and I want to put it all on just Brock. I mean, Brock did some really good things, and that would have been impossible to win the game without him.
What challenges do you have looking at the Lions' defense schematically and also personnel-wise, and just trying to pick them apart and figure out which areas to attack?
I mean, they're different almost every week. You know, so you kind of got to see that in the game and how they play. They'll switch stuff up. If they get beat on something, it's going to be something different next time. So there's the consistency is they're going to attack and be aggressive, but it's not in terms of just coverages, fronts, and all that stuff. It's they're running around trying to create confusion, trying to create negative plays. That's how they get their turnovers. That's how they don't mind giving you a lot of stuff, and all of a sudden they create a negative play on 2nd down, and you're in 3rd and 15. And really, I feel that's their goal to the game. You saw that with Tampa. I mean, there was 3 of their drives. They were moving the ball really well, and whether it was 2nd down or 3rd down, they made a mistake, and just like that, they were off the field and really had to surrender on 3rd and long. So they're opportunistic and they create it. And when you pair that with a really good offense, it only takes a couple drives for the whole game to change up real fast.
What were your impressions of Juwan walking a guy into the Gatorade, and what is he? I guess the most ferocious run blocking wide receiver you've coached?
Probably. He's I mean, what he did on that, taking the guy into the Gatorade, it's what he does every play out of practice. I mean, our defense tried to fight him all last year because they thought he was going above and beyond. And the next day in the meeting, I had to show him what he does every single play and to say it's not personal. This is just how he blocks. He stops after the whistle. He just drives into people, puts his face and hands into people, and never stops. And when it's over, he usually goes back to the huddle, but usually people take it personal. But it's not personal. That's just what he does.
Is that a unique thing that he can play that way to the whistle? And I don't recall him getting any penalties for unnecessary roughness.
No, he's caused a lot, but that's kind of what I mean. Like that's what I had to show our defense. That's how he always is. You almost want to warn refs too, because it looks like he's going out there and doing it. No, he's just playing to the whistle, and he takes that whistle very literally. I mean, he's playing till the whistle, and usually when that whistle comes, he's in the middle of driving into someone, and when that happens, they both end up on the ground.
You guys have had one of the lower touchback rates in the league. What's the strategy of kicking short, and how do you think it's worked out for you guys in general?
I mean, we don't always have that strategy. I mean, sometimes we do, but it's just not guaranteed that you're going to always kick it back there. I mean, usually we would like to. There have been times that we've asked them not to, more earlier in the year, but for the most part, we're usually trying to get touchbacks.
How was it Saturday that you thought the coaching staff had an off day, that the team felt off and you made some mistakes? Now, a couple of days after, why do you think that was, and how do you fix it?
That's just because that happens every game, and that's just me answering questions honestly. I mean, there wasn't any. I thought it was very balanced. There wasn't like, man, we played awesome on offense today or awesome on defense, and just this side of the ball. I thought everyone just didn't play the best they could, but that also sounds like an excuse. I thought Green Bay did a hell of a job. I thought there was a couple things that we missed, but they caused a lot of it. But I also think we did a hell of a job winning the game, not because of how we played in the fourth quarter. So I think all that stuff tied into it. And I mean, when we do awesome, I still have the same answer. I can't tell you guys how many things when you guys think we did really good that we don't talk about in there what we did really good. We just talked about the 8 or the 20 or the 16 or whatever it is, plays that we didn't do our best on.
Two more on the the long kickoff return. Was that planned to be taken through the end zone? It was not strategic.
No, that was just short.
And also, before your last punt, that could have been a long field goal attempt, 58, I think it would have been. Did you think about it? Do you think Moody sort of has that kind of range at times?
I think he does if we got to have it. Yeah, we can attempt it from there. But no, I wasn't trying to attempt a 58 at that moment in the game.
Last one.
Yeah, so looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown, a German receiver, what are your thoughts on that? Is he gonna give you a headache, or how are you gonna cover him?
The best we can. He does. I mean, he's a really good football player, and they get him the ball in a number of different ways. So there's no way to just cover a guy. You don't just say cover him in man, cover him in zone. It's about defending the team and the scheme. And when you do that, you usually make it harder for a good player too. And if you don't, their scheme gets going. They run the ball well. They throw the ball, whatever it is, and you're just trying to defend both. And then you're going to get a guy like that good looks. And when you get a guy like that good looks, it's similar to when you get guys like that we have good looks. It's not easy to stop them.
Is there a chance that Moody follows him, shadows him?
There's always a chance.